Time is running out. About 1 million Coloradans still need to vote, and they only have 26 hours to do it.
The voter enthusiasm can be felt nationwide.
It's a good thing. It's a testament to where we are right now.
But there is concern that enthusiasm will turn to aggression after large crowds of Trump supporters slowed or stopped traffic on U.S. highways, in one case appearing to run a Biden bus off the road.
Denver businesses are being proactive. Plywood covers the windows. Business owners aren't sure what they'll find Wednesday morning.
2.7 million Coloradans have voted already. This is according to new data just came in from the Secretary of State. 97 million Americans total have done the same.
And both of those numbers, early voting records. At the state level and nationwide, we are on pace to blow past the 2016 voter turnout numbers, which were among the highest of the last 50 years. In Colorado, there's a chance that 80% of eligible voters will actually vote. And that, my friends, has never happened.
Wow. And as you gear up for election night, there are a few things to keep an eye out for as the first unofficial results come in.
That's right. Denver7's political reporter Megan Lopez is joining us live from the Denver election headquarters to explain all of this. Megan, I know it's already busy there, isn't it?
Very busy, Ann. I mean, you guys just highlighted it. The election judges have been working nonstop, really, for days now in order to be able to sort through those ballots, to get them verified, and to get them off to the counters. Now, those election judges are all leaving right now, but it's 5 o'clock. But, they were here, and they will be here bright and early tomorrow morning. As you guys said, there's been a lot of voter turnout already, and so that means that we could get a pretty good indication of how the election is going, really, pretty quickly tomorrow after the polls close. But you do need to pay attention to a couple of things when it comes to those initial unofficial election results.
In the age of instant knowledge, between Twitter updates, push alerts, breaking news headlines, and more, it's not hard to understand why voters would expect to have election results, well, instantly. In places like Colorado,
as soon as 7 p.m. hits, everybody gets their finger ready to push, send the results to our centralized system.
That's because the state allows counties to sort, verify, and count the ballots as they come in.
We do expect 70 to 80% of all the votes cast to be able to be reported on election night.
Other states like Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin don't allow that to happen until right around Election Day.
A lot of states are going to be swamped just in the process of counting those ballots that have already come in by the mail.
That's part of the reason we might not know who will win the presidency on election night. Even with the early count,
election night results are never final results.
The results are considered unofficial for about 2 weeks after.
All of our military and overseas voters have this year 9 days after the election to have their ballots received by their county clerks.
Then the results will be certified. Something else to be wary of on election night, the first round of results can be misleading.
That we'll see more Democrats that have sent in their ballots in either absentee or early ballot format. And that means as states are counting these ballots, we're going to see a little bit of a shift towards a Democratic advantage.
Meaning the initial results might seem like Democrats have an advantage in some races, but that could change later in the night.
Really tight races. We may go to bed with half of the votes counted, seemingly either up in the air or perhaps even for benefit for President Trump. And then that might switch.
So the Colorado Secretary of State's office says that it's really ramped up its cybersecurity teams this year. It's partnering with the National Guard. It's looking out for election fraud. The thing that they are asking voters to do is to be careful and to really pay attention to what you read and what you believe as we go through election night and over the next couple of days, because that's when they've noticed, and the FBI as well, have noticed a ramp up of those disinformation campaigns in elections past. So they say just be sure what you're reading is true. Make sure you go to verified sources. And of course, if you see anything that sounds fishy or suspicious, just report it to them. I'm live at the Denver election headquarters. Megan Lopez, Denver7.
Yeah, great suggestions. Thank you, Megan. Now, the president is hitting the ground hard on the final night before the election. He's making stops in 5 battleground states. The Biden campaign focused on one state, Pennsylvania. The Bidens, Kamala Harris, and husband Doug Emhoff are all stumping there tonight.
The Denver leaders opened their emergency operations center this morning. They want to be prepared just in case people take to the streets tomorrow night.
And we saw organized demonstrations nationwide yesterday, including here in Colorado. A caravan of cars with Make America Great Again flags on them took over the highways throughout the metro yesterday. It was called the MAGA Drags the Interstate rally.
And the FBI is investigating one of these rallies near here's San Antonio, Texas, where video shows trucks with Trump flags surrounding a Joe Biden campaign bus. The president defended his supporters.
It is something. Do you see the way our people, they were protecting his bus yesterday because they're nice.
The president also tweeted saying his supporters did nothing wrong and the FBI should focus more on terrorists or anarchists.
In downtown Denver, we spotted crews putting plywood over the windows at several stores.
Denver7's Liz Gilardi spoke to business owners still dealing with the damage from the last round of protests over the summer.
The race to board up is on in downtown Denver. Plywood is covering the 16th Street Mall and most of downtown, hotels, apartment buildings, and the Wells Fargo building.
We all think that the world's going to end tomorrow, apparently, and we're boarding up like it's The Walking Dead.
Some of these businesses have been hit before.
They came down with axes and hammers and got through the woods, so we felt like we needed to take, further measures.
Soul Street Shoes has been repeatedly targeted during riots. The store was looted 4 times, including twice in one night. The first incident happened back in May when George Floyd protests turned violent.
On a retail value, we're talking just a little bit over $140,000.
The owner installed this metal gate to keep people out, but he's hoping it won't be needed.
Yeah, we had to contact a welder, and he made it for us.
Other business owners we talked to are on the same page, boarding up as a precaution because they just don't know what to expect.
We just don't want to take the risk anymore.
Your business is our business. The city cares about your safety and well-being.
The city of Denver even sent out this postcard asking businesses to take steps to secure their buildings. COVID-19 has made it difficult enough to run a retail store or bakery, then add in the damage from previous riots and now the expense of boarding up.
Since COVID hit, it's been very challenging.
For now, they're making a plea to keep the peace.
What we're going to do tomorrow will be on our regular hours, our COVID hours, and Wednesday we're going to play it by ear. So we'll know what happens Tuesday night.
I just hope that, everybody keeps a level head.
Liz Gilardi, Denver7.
And we are hopeful you will choose Denver7 for your election night coverage. We're live from 6 p.m. to 11 on Denver7 News for your Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, or Android device. And we'll be speaking to more than a dozen experts throughout the night to make sure that you are covered from every angle.
2,200 additional cases of coronavirus reported in Colorado today. Now, one caveat here. More people are being tested now than in the spring, and that does partially explain the record case counts we've seen in the last 2 weeks.
Now, that doesn't explain this. More than 10% of tests came back positive. And as you know, we were trying to keep that number under 5% here in Colorado. 858 ICU beds are in use tonight by people with the virus or virus symptoms. That is 70 more than yesterday. About 1 in 25 Colorado hospitals could reach ICU capacity soon. They're also worried about running out of PPE.
And today, the governor announced his starting point for this year's budget negotiations. Governor Polis laid out 3 priorities for him: an economic stimulus package to help us recover quicker, replacing the money the state needed to use for COVID response last year, and restoring our state's general reserves so our state's emergency fund is back where it was pre-COVID. Longtime Coloradans know this is just the beginning. There'll be a lot of haggling before the state legislature passes a final budget during the next session.
Not exactly early November weather. Coming up, what to expect for Election Day.
Colorado's street racing problem is growing. Tonight, city leaders are working on a solution.
And an entrepreneur with a history of bad behavior earns a ban from the forest for his most disgusting act yet.